Welcome back to Metal Gear RC, and we're here in the Wrench and Nut RC garage. And as you can see in front of me, I have my new truck from RC4WD Drive. Yes, this is the Trailfinder 2 with the Toyota body. And if you follow me on this channel, you probably already know that I had the black truck that looks just like this, but it was the Tamiya Bruiser clone, and I had the front axle snap. I was going to replace the axle, which I still have the truck. I'm not getting rid of it. I will fix it down the road. But as of now, the price of the axle that I could get for it to replace it, it's probably half of the price of a new truck. And I was like, if I'm going to spend that much money and not be for sure how well that replacement is going to work, I'd rather buy a brand new truck that I know will work and get me back on the trails. So I did some searching and I found this kit here because I wanted a kit. I didn't want to buy a ready to run. I like putting my trucks together. I like customizing them and doing the things I want with my trucks. So I found this one at RC4WD Drive. Is the Trailfinder 2 kit that comes with the actual body, and that was like, I want that. That's what I want. So I got it, and it's here, and I put the chassis together, and I put my electronics from my previous Toyota, the Tamiya Bruiser clone. I took the electronics out, and I put it in here. I was just driving around with nobody around in the house and testing it out, climbing up different things and whatnot. And I did do a couple changes. And if any of y'all know of RC Dungeon, he's got a couple of the RC4WD Drive trucks as well as this one here. So I hit him up. Really good guy, very knowledgeable, lots of experience in the hobby as well. I hit him up and told him like what I wanted to do and what I was trying to get, and he says pretty much on the right path, but he said this truck performs well with additional weight. So I definitely took a lot of the things he said into consideration of what I'm doing with this truck here. Let me go ahead and start showing you some of the stuff. I know I haven't painted the body yet, and if you want a quick idea of what the truck's going to look like, so yeah, if you've seen that little glimpse there, you can probably imagine what the rest of this truck's going to look like. So one of the things is I'm trying to go for a realistic look, and the front fender, inner fender here, there was none, and it comes and you see straight into the truck. You can see all the electronics, and you can tell it's an RC. But I went ahead and drew this up in CAD and printed it out, and I even shocked myself. I was astounded of how well it came out and how well it looks. Now, I did find a couple of them on the internet, and I seen how they did it, which I took some notes from them. So I can't say I did this completely from scratch. I did get some ideas from what they did, but I took that and I drew up my own from my own dimensions and from what I wanted it to look like. And I have to say it came out fairly well. And if you follow me on Facebook and Instagram, you've already seen the pictures I've put out there about the truck and the progress I was doing with the truck. So the other thing is they have 4 screws, 2 here and 2 on the other side, as well as these pegs back here that you'll put pins, and these to help support the hard body onto the truck. And I didn't want to have to unscrew any screws or have any pins while on the trail if I have to change the batteries. So I went ahead and I actually had some 3mm pins. These pins were for my previous truck, and it was for the drive shafts, and it's to pin it to the rear to either the transmission or the axle. And those pins, all I did was I turned them around and I screwed them in using using some pliers, which actually I used a drill. I locked them in the drill and just drilled them in, leaving about 3 to 4 millimeters sticking out, just enough to get through the body, and I can do this. Yeah, I'm picking it up straight from the body, no screws in there. It's just those little pins that I have sticking out. Now, I'll go ahead and take the body off. All I got to do is just squeeze out. It comes right up. Same thing on this side. Oh, I'm grabbing the wrong thing. Squeeze, pull it out, comes right off. And yeah, I haven't bolted the bed of the truck to the front. Once I paint it, I'll be connecting them as one piece like it should be. So I have these pins in here, and being they're metal against plastic, they was vibrating some. I took some heat shrink and I put them on there, and heat shrinked it on there, so now that's not metal against plastic. And I get a little rubber in between, so you won't hear any clattering or anything if when it vibrates or going down the trail. As for these two pegs in the back, I will be removing them. I do have some magnets on the way I had ordered, and so I'll be putting some magnets back here as well as on the bed, on the back side of the bed of the truck. I'm going to be filling in these holes and putting the magnets down here. So when you look at the truck, it's going to look as scale as possible, as much as I can, make it look scale. And as I was saying this, I don't want to have to mess with those screws or pins, especially on the trail. I don't want none of that getting lost. So I'm removing those magnets back here, and I already got these pins up here. So we're good there for the body being mounted onto the chassis itself. Now, onto the chassis. When building this, I have to say, really good quality. I love the quality of the chassis. A lot of the parts, they're pretty much all metal. And there are some parts that are plastic, which on a body, not everything should be metal. There are a couple pieces that are metal that, in my opinion, they should be plastic. Really good quality parts. They do include these plastic back and forward bumpers, especially for rock crawling, as well as these side guards. They're plastic, which you can change them out to metal. These are definitely to get you starting going without making the kit too expensive. And I don't knock them for that. You got your body post here, which is plastic. Good. You don't want that to be metal. But there is good quality stiff plastic. I don't see that really breaking, because the fact is the body either is going to give or these going to give. And if they were metal, you're going to be breaking your hard body more. You have a better chance of breaking your hard body. And transmission, one of the things I liked about this kit was it was a 2-speed transmission. My previous one was a 3-speed transmission. The only downside to that 3-speed transmission was high and low, it was 2-wheel drive. Now, if the high was 2-wheel drive and the low was 4-wheel drive, and then they had the super low, which was 4-wheel drive, if it had two different gears for 4-wheel drive, it would have been better. But this one here is full-time 4-wheel drive and 2 speeds, which I like. I like the ability to have 2 speeds and still be in 4-wheel drive. Not like my other truck is. I always had to be in super low to have 4-wheel drive. I followed the manual, which the manual is not the greatest. It helps tell you what you need to do, but I didn't follow the manual quite to their specs, being the fact that I've already looked through their manual and already seen a better way and faster way of putting it together, which I didn't make any shortcuts. I made sure everything went together. I made sure everything that was that needed to be Loctite was Loctite, and I definitely recommend that one if you're building a kit. Metal on metal, you definitely won't Loctite on it. So I built it to their scale that the 3 leaf springs on all 4, as well as the shocks, which these shocks actually have springs inside. And when I built it, put it all together, it was very stiff. Like it was, I really had to push hard on it. I had to really push on it to work the suspension. And these trucks here, they're not that heavy, and they need to be lighter. And one of the things I was talking with RC Dungeon about was, well, what did he do? Because I had a couple of ideas from my previous trucks and how I made the suspension work better, and I wanted to see what his opinions were. And he pretty much confirmed with me that, yeah, I'm on the right track by removing the springs out of the shocks, in which technically these shocks with the springs inside are there for when you have a 4-bore suspension or a 3-bore linkage suspension instead of using the springs. So if you don't have springs, you need the actual springs inside these shocks here for those. But being I have leaf springs, don't need those springs inside the shocks. Took those out. Actually add some more of the oil. They actually include a little kit that comes with some grease, shock oil, as well as the blue Loctite. It comes in the kit with it, which thank you. One of the other things is they had this fuel cell, fuel tank, that mounts back here, which I took it off. It's mainly for electronics, and it didn't come this way. I actually painted that, so your electronics would go in here, and it was a little too far for my servo and the electronic. It barely, and I didn't want to put any extensions inside the truck, so I went ahead and mounted my electronics up front here, which I prefer that anyway. I've already done waterproof my electronics, so I'm not too worried about that. I did pull the electronics from the previous Toyota and put it in here. So I do have the new 1080 G2 in this truck, and I have it set up with the real car settings, as well as I do have the live adjustment for the drag brake on my controller, and it's all done, all plugged into here. One of the other things that RC Dungeon definitely pointed out to me was that these trucks, they handle better with weight, and additional weight I did put on, and there are multiple reasons why I put them on where I did. There is a lot of front end weight, because if I grab here in the middle, the back comes up real easy. So I went ahead and I had some sticky weights, and I put them back here to help with the straps for the battery, because I'm not using the standard RC 6-cell 1.2 volts per cell battery pack. Uh, the straps that it comes with are pretty long, and I'm just using lithium ion batteries, and you gotta go around a couple times with the straps, and I'm going to be putting shorter straps in here. But I put the lead weight up underneath there, so it's low, it's inconspicuous, and it helps add a little weight to the back. And I could put it in the fuel cell and put it back here, but it is a little higher, and I didn't want it too high. I want it a lot lower. So I went ahead and put it there. I will be adding some weight to the wheels as well. Um, I'll probably do them equally, being the fact that I already have a lot of weight here in the front. So I'll do the tires equally, and that will actually help with the articulation of the suspension while on the trails to get better traction. But as of now, I am really impressed with this chassis and actually how it performed, because I drove around the house with it, climbing things, and these tires, they really stick. They really bite. Pretty much everything I was driving on, it would just grip and go. And being that there is two speeds, the low end speed is exactly what you need. It's really low end. And then if you want to get a little more speed to it, shift it in high. You still got your four wheel drive, and it bite and go. One of the other things is I don't knock them for it. These drive shafts are pretty thick. They're plastic. Like this part, the part up front here. Let's see if I can show it on camera. This part here is metal. This part here is metal. This part right here is plastic, and it literally just screws in there, or it's either bolted or screwed on. These pieces here are plastic, but they're fit very well. They will work, and I think they will last pretty well. I mean, unless you're really abusive to them, I don't see these breaking fairly soon. But if you are going for the scale look, you will want to replace these. But like I said, I'm not knocking them for it because I definitely know they wanted to keep the kit price in mind. They wanted to keep it low. And so there are some parts in there that are not the greatest, but they're not the worst. And trust me, this will get you out in the trails, and it will get you where you want to get at on the trails. But if you want the scale look, you're probably going to be replacing this one like I will probably be replacing it later on. But very impressed. I got some more stuff I want to do. I got to get this ready for the upcoming Ultimate Scale Truck Expo that's coming in February this year of 2023. And so I'm trying to get this truck ready. So I may not be making too many videos until I know I got plenty of time, because I'm be working on this truck as well as a couple other trucks for the show I want to take. So thanks for watching. If you like what you see, go ahead, hit the thumbs up real quick. Don't forget, put comments. Tell me what you like, what you don't like, what you want to know. Put it down there. I like hearing y'all questions and comments down below, and I will respond to just about everybody's comment. So as of now, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share with your friends. Until next time.